Hello again, this is CoreTV News on the Hour with Nifemi Oguntoye. Boko Haram militants attacked a platoon led by the son of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He sustained serious injuries to his legs following a gunshot. Adeboye Obasanjo, an army engineer, is a lieutenant colonel at the 3rd Division in Jos, Plateau State. He and his platoon were engaged with Boko Haram militants at Baza, which is the village of the general officer commandant of the 3rd Division when the incident took place. 24 soldiers in the platoon were reportedly killed by the militants. Apart from the dead soldiers, the army also lost an armored tank to the militants. As a result of the attack, the army has moved sensitive weapons from Mobi to the brigade headquarters in Yola, leaving Mobi vulnerable to attack. The town of Mobi has practically been deserted following the closure of schools and massive retreat of soldiers from the city. Now, as the battle for the soul of northeast Nigerian villages rages between government forces and Boko Haram insurgents, political analysts have continued to lay the attacks at the doorstep of politicians who they say will do anything to gain power. Speaking on our flagship program, Core Digest, Depo Olayokun says the Nigerian army has failed in the responsibility of ensuring that the insurgents are contained.
That Nigerian army will make what they call tactical maneuver into Cameroon, fighting Boko Haram, not fighting America, not fighting Ghana, fighting Boko Haram. When the firepower was too much for our boys, when they made what they call tactical maneuver into another country, that is straying. That those people now arrested them, disarmed them, go and lodge them in one school. Nigeria should be ashamed of ourselves. When you remember Nigeria of yesteryears, I was telling you what was happening when Nigeria invaded Cameroon because they strayed into our territory. That the Cameroonian president had to call the French president, to call our president, that please call Buhari to order. Nigeria military has now become a bunch of people that would not, 480 Nigerian army soldiers ran into Cameroon because they were faced with firepower that was above more than their own. And we have a country that was budgeting close to ₦1 trillion every day, every year for defense.
Political affairs analyst Charles Eke explains that political leaders are responsible for the attack as they have abandoned their primary responsibility of protecting lives and property.
Instead of being responsive and responsible to the mandate that the leaders have gotten on the platter of gold, now they abdicated their responsibility, allowed Almajiris to come in and take charge of the whole environment, making them to grow from infancy to these monstrous terror groups that are now a challenge to the entire, not just Nigeria alone, to the whole world.
Chiefs of the first staff of West African states are converging on Ghana to review the general security situation of the region. The meeting carries the theme, Strengthening ECOWAS Military Cooperation for Peace, Stability and Development. The regional defense chiefs are to receive an update on the security situation in northern Nigeria, where Boko Haram has seized some towns and declared an Islamic caliphate. They will also, during their three-day talks, be briefed on the Ebola virus disease outbreak in West Africa, which ECOWAS has tagged a security threat. In addition, the meeting will also consider the status report of the ECOWAS standby force, as well as receive updates on the new Peace Support Operation Division. The police authorities have deployed newly appointed police commissioners to command positions in 21 states. This, according to police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu, is based on recommendation of the Police Service Commission and its subsequent approval. Kayode Aderanti is now the new Commissioner of Police in Lagos, while Acting Commissioner Wilson Inalegu is in charge of the Federal Capital Territory. One-time police spokesman Olushola Amore takes charge in Niger State. Usman Yakubu is posted to Nasarawa State and Clement Adoda in Borno State, among others. Meanwhile, the police authorities have ordered an investigation into the death of veteran journalist Dimba Igwe. Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba disclosed this in a condolence message to the family of the late vice chairman of the Sun newspaper. He assured the family that the police will leave no stone unturned in the quest to unravel the circumstances surrounding the late Dimba's death. The journalist died on Saturday at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital after he was knocked down by a hit-and-run vehicle. Nigeria has now recorded a new Ebola case to bring the number of confirmed cases in the country to 19. Health Minister Onyebunchukwu discussed this at a press briefing in Abuja. He revealed that the new case is the fiancé of one of the primary contacts of the index case, but added that he has recovered.
As of this morning, the total number of confirmed cases of Ebola virus disease in Nigeria is 19. 15 in Lagos, 4 in Port Harcourt. The 19 cases which have been actually in existence but not confirmed earlier is the fiancé of one of the primary contacts of Mr. Sawyers, who died of the disease. The test results were equivocal, but further tests have now established that indeed he suffered from the disease. He had only mild symptoms and he has since recovered from the illness. He was quarantined, but because of the initial equivocal test result, he was not placed on active treatment. The total number of deaths from Ebola virus disease in Nigeria stands at 7. 5 of these died in Lagos. One, as you know, the index case, Mr. Patrick Sawyer, in a private hospital, while the other 4 died in the isolation ward in Lagos State.
The Nigerian government wants the international community to stop singling out its citizens for screening on suspicion of the Ebola virus disease. This, according to Health Minister Onyebunchukwu, is because the country has the disease under control. He made the appeal at a press conference in Abuja, where he also insisted that Nigeria has learned from its experience with the disease.
Days after Ebola virus disease was imported into Nigeria, and the authorities appear to have its spread in check. But the stigma attached to the disease now threatens the milestone already recorded. Recently, there have been reports of profiling and quarantine of Nigerians in several countries on account of their origin. The Nigerian authorities say such an approach is uncalled for.
We're in control. We have contained the situation. Ebola is not on the street in Nigeria anywhere. So we're again appealing to countries and individuals not to profile or stigmatize anyone on account of Ebola virus disease. In particular, we have observed that some countries have continued to selectively quarantine Nigerian travelers without any health or scientific basis.
There is a situation involving a journalist back in Cuba on account of Ebola, but the government says it is presently looking into the matter.
The journalist went to Cuba and has been detained for 3 weeks. It is expected that that journalist or that newspaper should be able to reach out to the Nigerian mission in Cuba. Because when you travel out, you must remember the address of your mission, so that if you have this, and then you are able to get the mission to enforce your rights.
The only case when you mentioned Cuba we had was of a journalist working for a newspaper in Nigeria. We got that through one of you. We didn't get that from the media house where that individual works, which was surprising. But as a responsible ministry, we've already written formally, we did weeks ago, we wrote formally to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to help us investigate the case. And now that you've mentioned it, maybe today we would want to remind and ask them what was the outcome of their own investigation.
And in spite of Nigeria's widely acknowledged success in handling Ebola, the authorities still want the citizenry to remain aware of the threat posed by the disease and adhere strictly to World Health Organization protocols.
Aviation authorities promise improved services across airports in the country. Find out more on these and other stories after this time out. Don't go away.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes and bleeding from the eyes, ears and nose. especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water, or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Welcome back. Aviation authorities in Nigeria say passengers and airport users will witness improvement in operations at airports across the country. Minister of Aviation Osita Chidoka discussed this at a meeting with airport managers in Abuja. He also directed the officials to operate Twitter and Facebook accounts to keep the public updated on developments of the nation's airports. Pa Samuel has the details.
This is the first time the aviation minister is meeting with airport authorities since he was appointed about 2 months ago. The meeting is devoted to making air passengers comfortable and secured. But the minister is also concerned about the attitude of airport managers. He wants them to become service deliverers rather than managers.
This meeting is designed to achieve a critical objective of ensuring that our airports are secured for passengers, that passengers travel in comfort, that minimum standards are maintained at the airports, and that those who use the airports will also feel the impact of the work of the airport managers. This will also lead us to documenting carefully the expectations of each airport manager and to measure the output of the airport manager to what he has committed to doing. It will also require us to create common minimum standards across all airports and to ensure that each manager maintains that minimum standard.
Before the closed-door meeting, the minister charged all managers to work towards achieving the safety goal or be shown the way out.
It's important for us that we begin to measure and we begin to report to the public about our measurements. And then also to encourage them to know that when we have done that part, we have itemized the work you do, we have given you the authority to execute that work, and we have put in place a process of measuring the output of that work. We will also punish those who do not deliver on the set standards.
And afterwards, the minister spoke exclusively to CoreTV News on what he described as a fruitful interaction.
Well, they're enthusiastic. They are willing to work. They've talked about their challenges, and we talked about the options open to them in managing those challenges. And all I can see is that they are re-energized. They are happy that they are recognized. They are happy that they're having this meeting with the minister. And they are happy that we are putting in place a performance measurement system that that ensures that people who deliver see the output of what they are doing.
He has since directed that airports must be secured to enable air passengers travel in safety. Chidoka also promised to closely monitor the airport managers to ensure an improvement in service delivery. Pa Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The political engine room of Lagos State was again ignited as the former Accountant General of the state, Akinwumi Ambode, formally declared his intention to contest the 2015 governorship election. Thousands of APC supporters thronged the Bagada campaign office of the candidate to register their support for his ambition. Olajumoke Olatunji was there and fathom the support.
Lagos is the commercial nerve center of the country. No wonder every sector of the Nigerian society, ranging from religious to commercial and traditional institutions, are keenly interested in who emerges as the chief executive of the state. Before now, speculations were rife in the Lagos political arena that the former Counsel General of the state, Akinwumi Ambode, is the candidate whom the party's leadership has endorsed to lead the state after the incumbent Babatunde Fashola vacates the seat in 2015. However, this remained a grapevine until this formal declaration by Ambode.
We're here because we just want to show you a common location where the aspiration and the future of Lagos is evolving, and this is where we are. We've had a lot of legacy groups, and they've been bearing different names. But what we have done now is to bring everybody together in a manner that we have a structured organization that can drive our campaign. It's not as if we have declared, but these are supporters, these are friends, these are party members who believe that the future of Lagos State should be in our hands. And that's the aspiration we tend to seek right now.
Since the recent declaration by the Oba of Lagos, Rilwan Akiolu, that he will be the next governor of Lagos, Akinwumi Ambode has had to contend with a plethora of challenges ranging from religious consideration to organized zoning, his patronage and lately alleged funding of his campaign through the councils in the state. This might look like a step in the right direction for this man who's finally come out to give answers to so many questions concerning his political ambitions. As a look, the race to Lausa 2015 has finally begun, and political disputants have started to relate their intentions through banners and posters on the streets of Lagos. Now, Lagosians are earnestly waiting to see who will succeed Babatunde Raji Fashola as governor of Lagos State come 2015 general elections. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The National Bureau of Statistics has dismissed recent figures in the public domain on the rate of unemployment in Nigeria. The Statistician General, Yemi Kale, says at the forum in Abuja that the Bureau has not published any document on the rate of unemployment in the country since 2011. He added that the NBS is working on new ways through which accurate data could be generated and presented to the public.
In Nigeria, between 1.2 million to 2.2 million people enter the labor force every year, an average of about 1.6 million. And it's important that we generate sufficient full-time employment for them. At this juncture, let me clarify, as the apex statistical body in the country, some misconceptions about the labor force and about unemployment in Nigeria. The labor force is only those within a particular age group in Nigeria, 15 to 65, willing and able to work. And unemployment is a proportion or number of people in that labor force that cannot find work, and not the entire population. This means if you are a student or voluntary housewife, or choose not to work for whatever reason, or are unable to work, or are younger than 15, or are older than 65, you are not in the labor force, and consequently you cannot be unemployed. So every time I see certain percentages being used against the entire population of 170 plus million, that is incorrect. We don't calculate children or students or housewives as unemployed because they are not looking for work, they are not willing, and they are not able to work. And this
You're watching CoreTV News on the hour. Stories from outside Nigeria are next after this break. Stay with us.
Welcome you to From the Ivory Tower. And happenings around the country, varsity teachers get to air their views. Students are actually not left out. We bring you intellectual ends from the events happening around you. It is dedicated to educating the populace with a spice of entertainment.
From the Ivory Tower, Tuesdays, only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. The head of Egypt's Al-Azhar, Sunni Islam's highest seat of learning, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib, says jihadists of the Islamic State, popularly known as ISIS, are mere criminals serving a Zionist plot to destroy the Arab world. Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib has stressed that the criminals have been able to transmit to the world a tarnished and alarming image of Muslims, according to the Sunni leader. The fundamentalist terrorist groups and their backers are colonial creations that serves Zionism and its plot to destroy the Arab world. The ISIS group have captured major towns in Iraq and destroyed electricity, oil, and other public utilities. Thousands of lives have equally been lost to deadly attacks on villages and towns in the country due to incessant ISIS attacks. Al-Azhar is Egypt's top religious authority and runs a university long seen as the most prestigious center of Sunni Muslim learning. Amnesty International has called on Ukraine's leaders to act against abuses and war crimes committed by volunteer militias fighting against pro-Russian rebels in the east of the country. The rights group says it has documented a growing number of abuses, including abductions, unlawful detention, ill treatment, robbery, extortion, and possible executions by one pro-Kiev battalion fighting in the Lugansk area. Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk, who met Amnesty Chief Sally Shetty during his visit to Kiev, pledged that the government would hold those responsible to account, stressing that all perpetrators of crimes are equal before the law and liable to prosecution.
International conflict, and that it is very clear to us that Russia is a party to the conflict. For many weeks and months now, we have been documenting the humanitarian law violations which have been caused by the separatist forces. But what we've said to the Prime Minister today is that we've also received reports of humanitarian law violations by the Ukrainian forces, like indiscriminate shelling and reports like that. And these issues are very complex. The important thing for the Ukrainian government to do at this point is to immediately investigate. The reason is to end human suffering, because the human suffering in Luhansk, because of the behavior of the Ida battalion, is very clear. When you read our report, you can see what human costs it has.
That wraps it on the news this hour. Join us again at 11 o'clock for more updates. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. Cool Digest kickstart in a moment. Stay with us.